If you want to drop 100 pounds or more, in this video, I'm going to break down the exact steps to go from where you are right now to 100 pounds less. These are the things that I teach my coaching clients. I have clients that drop 75, 80, up to 100 pounds in only a year, okay? I know a lot of times people, when they think about dropping that amount of weight, they consider surgeries, they consider things like Ozempic, and there's consequences behind doing those things. And it's not no shame to the people that do them, but I've heard some horror stories. I'll say that. And so there is a little bit more, from what I've heard, a little more admiration and respect for those who drop that weight naturally, the right way, without taking on surgeries and things like that. Okay, and so I'm going to show you how you can do it naturally without injuring yourself, without starving yourself, without living in the gym like a bodybuilder, or just like suffering like those people from what's that TV show, The Biggest Loser, back in the days. I think they have so many contestants that started filing lawsuits because those people started gaining the weight back because they did it the wrong way. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do it the right way. Okay. And so most trainers would say the first thing you want to do to start losing that weight is nutrition. And nutrition is important, but it's not the most important thing. A lot of people always ask me, well, what makes you different as a coach than what all these other trainers do? Like, what's the point? I just need a meal plan, workout plan. No, you don't. Because if all we needed was a meal plan and workout plan, everybody would be in shape by now. It's a reason why people have a hard time losing weight. I think it's like one out of 3 people in America are obese. Not just overweight, obese. 1 out of 3. And it might be more than that. It might be 2 out of 3 people. It's something crazy. Look it up on Google. You'll see what I mean. But the number one thing is self-image. I've been doing this now over 16 years. I've had the pleasure of being able to coach people in person for over a decade, back when I did in-person training, to now, my career is, I'm helping people all over the country, all over the United States, Texas, Cali, Florida, people all over the place. And people who want to lose weight, they have to have the belief that they can lose the weight. What I realized is that some people, they've gained so much weight and they don't realize how big they are anymore. They don't realize the trauma that they're putting themselves through. Because I want you to imagine carrying around a 50 to 100 pound book bag all day. Imagine waking up out of bed, having to carry around that big 100 pound book bag. How tired you're gonna be, how achy you're gonna feel in your back, in your knees, the inflammation, right? These things happen because of the excess weight that people have on. And so a lot of people just normalize this trauma, not realizing that it's the weight that's causing it. And so here's the thing. You have to think differently to start living differently, all right? And what I mean by this is, you know where you are right now. Some people who I help, they're dealing with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea. They're not happy with how their clothes fit, and they're just feeling uncomfortable with their body and their weight. One person that comes to mind, one of my coaching clients, named Ann Hollins. This is a lady, super busy, works in the postal office, at a high level, and she used to call herself like the big girl out of her friend group in that church. And she just, one day she got tired of laughing at her own jokes about herself, and she reached out to me on Instagram, and we started talking, and she was still a bit fearful though. She was just like, I don't know, and a little hesitant. And then we started talking about, like, how would life be when she dropped the weight? When she's that version of herself who's down 100 pounds, how does she show up in moments like that when she had to make the investment in the coaching program? And she said she knows she would do it without a doubt. She knew she would do it without a doubt because she knew how much better she'd feel, more confident, more energy, loving the way her body looks inside and out. And you have to start thinking the same way. The transformation has to happen internally before it happens externally. And so back to what I said earlier, a lot of trainers just talk about meal plan, workout plan. One of the things that allows me to help my coaching clients have permanent transformations is how they view themselves. You have to view yourself not as big boy 32 or chubby girl pound cake. If you're looking at yourself like you're a heavy person, you're gonna keep moving in alignment with the way you view yourself, okay? And so you have to look at yourself as the version of yourself. You have to move in alignment with the future version of yourself. If you don't do that, you can have the best workout plan, you can have the best meal plan, you're going to move out of alignment, okay? Because you're not the version of yourself moving as the version of yourself that you need to be, okay? To take advantage of the meal plan and workout plan. But once you get that part, now you can see it. Now you have the vision. Now you understand that the level of like commitment that that future version of yourself has, the level of consistency that that future version of yourself has, you know, the level of resilience and mental toughness that that future self version of yourself has. Super important. A lot of people, they make decisions based on their current situation and wonder why they have a hard time getting to where they want to be. You have to move, you have to make decisions based on the future version of yourself. Or else fear will always hold you back. Because we're always going to have moments of doubt and fear and uncertainty. But moving at that 2.0 version of yourself, the way that version of yourself thinks, this is what's going to get you to that next level. The next step is this. We got the mind on point now. We got your heart on point. The next thing we need to do is dial in your eating habits. Because now you're the person that you need to be internally to start executing on the way you need to eat, okay? And so when it comes to nutrition, a lot of people think that all they need to do is just eat healthy, eat a whole bunch of salads, do the fasting diet, do the cut out the carbs. And you don't have to do these things, guys. Like I grew up eating soul food all the time. And, you know, I seen a lot of people in my family develop health issues, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, heart attacks. Like, it was a lot of pain growing up. Like, when I look back on what was going on in my family, it was, you know, we had some good times, but there was a lot of rough times too. And what I realized is we had no idea how important eating was. We just thought we could eat cornbread, macaroni and cheese, and pork chops every day. But you can't eat like that, guys. You can't eat like that. I remember eating hamburger helper almost every day. It was like off the chain. Like, you know, and knowing what I know now, you know, obviously a lot of people are aware that you can't eat that way. And so people default to just like, oh, let me just eat super healthy all the time, which could be, you know, boring for a lot of people. Oh, I gotta eat salads all the time, you know? And so instead, what I've come to realize is people want flexibility. People want to be able to lose this weight, but they still want to enjoy themselves. And so the way that we do it over here with me and my coaching clients, we do something called flexible nutrition, okay? So it's very, very important that you're paying attention to not just the foods that you're eating, but the structure in which you eat those foods. And so if you are eating, let's say chicken, steak, eggs, vegetables, we all pretty much eat very similar foods, but are you eating the right portions? Because you can eat foods you prefer to eat. I know there's a lot of trainers out there that'll tell you that you can't eat certain foods, but you can if you eat the right portions. And so knowing your calorie intake is super important for losing weight. Knowing your protein intake is super important for losing weight. And the reason why is because calorie intake is just a metric of energy, guys. Do you know your calorie intake to start losing weight? Do you know how much calories you eat on a daily basis right now? Because if you don't know these things, this is a big reason you're not losing weight. Calories is just a metric of energy. If you're over consuming on energy, your body bloats, okay? Meaning you gain a lot of weight. But if you want to lose weight and you want to lose weight consistently, you have to consistently be in a calorie deficit, knowing the amount of calories you're eating, okay? The second side of this is this. I'm one of those coaches where it's not just about weight loss for me. I want to make sure my members look and feel good and have energy, you know? I see y'all commenting. I'm going to chat with y'all once I finish up with all the content. All right? Keep eating dinner over there, Cassandra. And so Here's the thing. There's people who lose weight because they are eating in a deficit, but they still have health issues like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure because of the quality of foods they're eating. Okay? Uh, and so, with that said, let's see what this is right here. I don't know what that's all about, but nah, let me drag that down. YouTube just popped something up over here. But anyway, you have to know your protein intake. You have to know your fat intake. You have to know your fiber intake because you want to be healthy. People who have these type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, even though they may be in a deficit with their calories, it's because of the quality of the foods they eat. And so you have to pay attention to both calorie intake and quality of food. Okay? So both are super important. Once you get these two down pat, this is how you start losing weight. I have a coaching client named Brandon Dixon in my coaching program. And his guy, he had been struggling to lose weight for years. Like he had tried the Atkins, the fasting, the carnivore, well, I don't think he tried the carnivore, what was it? The keto diet. He tried a lot of different diets. And he loses a little bit of weight, gain it back. But then when I taught him this way of eating, flexible nutrition, this dude is now down 74 or 75 pounds now. And the nutrition does the heavy lifting, guys. It's not doing hours of cardio. It's not doing 10,000 plus steps a day. It's what you're eating. That's you know how they say small hinges close big doors? Nutrition is that small hinge that makes the biggest change in your results, okay? And so that's the second thing, nutrition. The third thing, I see a lot of people who they're like, I want to lose this weight, but I want to be tightened and toned. I want to be defined when I lose the weight. I want to be cut when I lose the weight. I don't want to look, skinny or sick, And the reason this happens is because people are not training. If you are not lifting weights, you are shooting yourself in the foot. If you want to be able to look good, be proud about how you're looking in your clothes and your suits, and when you take your clothes off, when you're naked, you got to hit them weights, man. You can't just do cardio. You can't just eat healthy. Both are very, very important. All right. And so a lot of people are just working out. A lot of people are going to the gym, no structure. They're just kind of like doing things. They do a little bit of bench press. They do a little bit of abs, do a little bit of legs. They go hoop with the boys, but there's no structure to what they're doing. And this randomness creates random results. And so if you want to have consistency when you step on that scale, you see the weight going down. You're not disappointed when you're stepping on the scale. You want to have consistency with how your clothes and your suits fit because your stomach is consistently going down and you're not having to try to hide it now. You see what I mean? You have to have structure with your workout routines. That's how we go from working out to training. Training is when you're working out with purpose. You know exactly what exercise you're going to be doing. How many reps, how many sets, how much rest time, right type of cardio. If you don't know these things, guys, you're going to have a hard time. You're not going to be able to build muscle like you want to. All right? And so, the way that we do it over here, we take it a step even further. We call it lifestyle-based training. Because a lot of the type of people I help, busy, high-achieving professionals. So we don't have a whole lot of time to be in the gym like a bodybuilder. Don't have 2-hour workouts. Can't do it. We just don't have the time. And so we do lifestyle-based training where our training routines support our schedule. Not only does it support the goals that we want to accomplish, but it fits our schedule. And so you don't have to do the 6 to 7 days a week of working out. A lot of my clients, they work out 3 to 4 days a week. And they dropping 40, 50, 60 pounds in 6 months. 70, 80, 100 pounds in 12 months. From doing this. Training 3 to 4 days a week. Using flexible nutrition. Eating foods they prefer to eat, but with structure. All right, they still know their portions. They still know the proteins and the fiber, things like that. But most importantly, they are moving in alignment with the version of themselves that they want to become. They have belief and they trust in themselves. They're committed. They're not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They're willing to go hard for it because they know what's possible once they get there. They know what it's worth. They know the meaning behind dropping 100 pounds. They know it means They're gonna have a feeling of accomplishment. They know it means they're gonna be a better role model and example for the people they love and care about. They know they're gonna have way more energy. They're gonna start seeing opportunities that they didn't see beforehand because they started losing the weight. A lot of times people who, let's say you're 50, 60, 70, 100 pounds overweight right now, there's opportunities that you don't even see in yourself right now because of where you are in your current circumstances. But once you start dropping that weight, you're gonna see things more clearly. This is spiritual. It's not just physical. You're going to be blessed with being able to see things better because you're working on yourself. It's an internal transformation and an external transformation. So what I talked about earlier, when I talked about self-image, that's internal. That's the way you see yourself. So while you're on your weight loss journey and other people are like, why are you doing that little workout thing? Why are you doing that little meal plan thing? You see why internally. You know why you're doing what you're doing. You're moving with purpose. You're blessed with that vision, not them. They may not understand it. But when you make that internal transformation, it don't matter what nobody else say at that point because you're moving in alignment with where you're going. And then we add nutrition, lock on lock, the training on lock. And maybe, you know, if you're blessed enough to have a community of people who support you, like what we have over here, we have something called the Lions Den in my coaching program. You have people to encourage you along the journey. And so you're not doing it alone. That way you're more likely to stick with it. All right. There's tons of people who try to do it alone and they find themselves stuck and they fall back in their old ways. But imagine if you had the right people in your corner who are encouraging you, supporting you, holding you accountable. How much more likely are you to be successful? This is what successful people do. They get in rooms with other people who celebrate their wins and don't look at it like, oh, they bragging. When you're in the right environment, they understand the hustle. They understand the grind. They understand the sacrifice. But when you're not, you know, that's what happens. You know, what do they say? It costs nothing to be a hater. That's why broke people do it. And so, you know, if you have a rich spirit, most likely you're not somebody out here hating. And when you have a rich spirit, you pour it into yourself. You're exercising. You're taking care of yourself. You value your health. You value your image. And so you're going to do things necessary to make it happen. And you're going to surround yourself with the type of people who do too. All right. Other than that, hopefully y'all found this helpful. Woo, man, I gave y'all some game today. This is going to change somebody's life at some point. If you would like help from me, you want me to develop some structure for you, something that's tailored to fit your goals in life, I'll drop a link down in the description below. That way you can learn more about it. All right, let's get it.